Hi everyone, it's Lisa with Ink and Inspirations, and welcome to our YouTube premiere for Thursday, September 2nd, 2021. I'm so excited to have you all here and excited to share with you this evening. If you are watching the live, you can sign in to your Google account and participate in the live chat. And if you watch the replay, thank you for being here. You can comment below the video with questions or comments, and I can get back to you as soon as I can. So before we get started, we're just going to take care of a couple of things. I wanted to share my current host code for those of you who do order from me. And if you're looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to serve you. And this host code, when you order, if your order it totals less than $150, before shipping and tax, use this code, okay, and it helps me to pass on gifts to you. So now I am also having another thank you class with order from now until September 10th. I'm using the Nature's Harvest bundle, which is the stamp set and dies that we are using this evening for the premiere. And if you place an order of $50 or more by the 10th, you will get the kit and the online video class to put together this beautiful little journal. Some people call them junk journals. I think they're great little albums, or you can keep it as a gratitude journal, a scripture journal, lots of different things you can use it for. And you will get the kit, everything but the stamped images, to create this little journal. If your order totals $100 or more by the 10th, you're also going to receive some in color jewels that will go great when you're putting your little book together. Okay, if you have any questions about that, let me know. So we're going to be doing another fun fold tonight. It's a double Z, which I've done before, but this one is in portrait mode. So we're going to start with some soft, succulent cardstock. This is cut 4 1/4 by 11. And I scored it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, move that aside. And when you fold it, you want to have that Z, make that Z, and this long piece here will be our card bottom, okay? And then this short piece is going to be the top, say the opening. Now, to make it a double Z, we'll need another piece of soft succulent. This is cut at 3 1/4 by 10, and I also scored that at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, so let me just show you. When we assemble this, it's kind of backwards. The long end is going to go over the front there. The short end will be adhered on the what we consider the inside of the card, and it's going to be put together like that, okay? But let's do some other parts first before we start gluing this together. So I'm going to get some of the designer paper. It's called Harvest Meadow, and I have 2 pieces cut at 2 1/2 by 4. And let's go ahead and put those on. Right here on the large base, we're going to glue those right there. So let me get my liquid glue. You could use your Stampin' Seal to do this as well. I like the little bit of wiggle room I have with the liquid glue. All right. I love these soft colors in this. And look at that neutral background on the back side. In that little journal, I use these papers as well. So I'm centering that side to side and top to bottom. Now for this back part here, this piece, same pattern, cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to glue that down just like that. A little bit of glue. And we'll set it right down, just like that, okay? Now, we have this part here, okay? So we need to dress this up a bit. So I decided to use Bumblebee, which is that yellow color in the designer paper. And I've got, let's see, it looks like I'm missing a piece, but I'll find it somewhere. If not, I'll just have to make another one. this, you need 2 of these cut at 2.5 by 3. And that's going to go right here, okay? So I need another one. I'm going to have to fix that. And then I have another piece cut at 3 by 4.25. Now you can see this is embossed. So I used the Time Worn Type embossing folder, 3D embossing folder, and cut my pieces and then ran them through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to give that some pizzazz there. I'm going to see if I can find that other piece. I know I cut one. Let's see if this one will work. That one's a little big, but I think I can cut it down. All right, so I needed that at 2.5 by 3. Let me get my trimmer in here and we'll make it work. How about that? 2.5 by 3. So let's measure this. That's 2 3/4. That's 3. So I need to cut that down to 2 1/2. Okay, let's see if we can make that work. Yes, sirree, we can. Let's go ahead and put these down. This one is going to go here. And then we have 2 pieces. Again, they are 2.5 by 3. Going to be the same size on these 2 smaller panels. There. And this one's going to go right there. Okay, now I'm going to put my sentiment here because that's going to be on the inside, so to speak, of the card, okay? So I have a piece of basic white cut 2.5 by 2. And we're going to do some stamping on this. I'm going to get some scrap paper to put under it and my Stampin' Pierce mat. And let me get all of these little papers out of the way. Hope that helps you as I'm making the video to see those measurements there. So I decided to use a sentiment from the Delicate Dahlias stamp set, this Sending Heartfelt Sympathy, okay? And this stamp set can be earned with a $100 purchase during celebration. So that's through the end of this month, September 30th, 2021. It's a beautiful set, and I love this sentiment. So, let me see. I think since I'll end up giving this card away to someone who comments in the live video, I'm going to use a different sentiment. How about that? Let me do a thank you kindly. I have needed several sympathy cards here as of late, and so I've just been making a stack of those to have on hand. All right, so I've mounted the thank you kindly and going to stamp in Soft Succulent toward the top here of this basic white. Okay, let's get this ink out of the way. Now I'm going to use this coneflower image. Beautiful, love it. I have some purple coneflowers that grow in the woods here by the cabin, and I wish I would have picked some before they went away, but I didn't. Now I just stamped here the top in Bumblebee. Okay, I'm tying the color in. You can make these any color you'd like. I'm going to stamp off and then stamp here just to give that a little color and tie in the image that's going to be on the front of the card. All right, so now let me go ahead and put this here liquid glue. And liquid glue is best to use when you're adhering a piece over a dry embossed piece like this one is here. All right. So now, let me move that out of the way. I need to clean my stamp because we're going to use that again. I'm going to get our base here, and I'm going to show you how I mount this together. So I usually come in about a 1/2 inch from the designer paper here, okay? And then I take it and fold it, and I kind of push it and get it equidistant from top to bottom and from side to side. Just eyeball it, okay? So then I lift this up carefully. Okay, and I'm going to put liquid glue just behind that piece right there. Okay, I'm going to come back this way, check out my positioning again, and then push that down. And I'm going to hold that for just a bit. Okay. I found this is just the easiest way for me to do that. Okay, and then since it's liquid glue, if you need to wiggle it a bit, but that's fine. That looks fine. All right, so now I want to secure this to this top flap. So I'm going to fold this over, and I know I have a few inches, a couple of inches here to put my adhesive. Okay, then bring this over and just fold it down. Okay, and give it a hold. Press down. Okay, and just give it a few seconds to dry. And see how pretty that is? I love that fold. So pretty. All right, so now to decorate the front, we are going to use a stamped image. And I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time coloring this time since I did that last week. But you would take this image, a piece of basic white cardstock, ink it with Memento Black ink if you're coloring with Stampin' Blends, our alcohol markers. If you're coloring with other mediums, such as our Stampin' Write markers, or you're going to use watercolor pencils and a blender pen, you would need to use Stays-On ink. And of course, if you decided to stamp on watercolor paper, you would either emboss the image or stamp with Stays-On, and then you could watercolor and it wouldn't run. Okay, look at that beautiful image. And so what I did is I just took my Daffodil Delight and I just very easily colored the petals. And this will be die cut out. I'll just do one of these flowers here. Took some of the dark Daffodil Delight and added a little bit of shading there. Okay. For the cone, it's usually really dark, but I didn't want it to be black or look black since there's a lot of little etchings in the stamp itself. So I'm using light soft suede and just filling that in. Okay, and then you can get this bottom a little darker, and sometimes you can bring a little down into the top of the flower. Now, in staying with the color scheme, I decided to use soft succulent for the stems and leaves, so I just colored in like that and then came back in with the dark soft succulent and did some shading a little bit, and then I blended it together, going back over it with the light. Okay, so after I colored all of that, I used the coordinating die from the bundle, and I die cut that out on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so let me show you the finished piece here. See how pretty that is? And it just stands out against that bumblebee background. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue again, which is going to be best on that embossed, dry embossed image. You know, when you use an embossing folder, it's dry, referred to as dry embossing. Okay, when you use Versamark and the heat tool to melt the powder, that's heat embossing. Okay, so the terms are used either way. Sometimes I don't say dry embossing and sometimes I don't say heat embossing, but that's the difference. Okay. All right, then I'm going to take some of these jewels, in color jewels, and we have soft succulent here. I'm going to take, let's see. And I'm going to try to put it where there's not too much of a raised section so that it will grab and hold. Okay, let me pull this up. See right here, it's not raised so much. I'm trying to decide where to put it. It's always such a decision for me. Okay, so now I'm going to get another large one and come down here and put it. Okay, and I don't put a sentiment on the front. I just leave it. Now, I had thought I needed something here in this center. And what you could do is cut another 2.5 by 2 piece of basic white and put it there if you needed to write more of a note. But if not, I took some of the soft succulent ribbon, and just to add a little bit more fun to it and prettiness, this ribbon is gorgeous. And I think I've told you, but on one video, but the pale papaya, which is one of the in colors, this one right here, when they first came out, it was my least favorite in color. Okay, it's like, I'm going to go ahead and use this up because I know it's not going to be my favorite. Oh, was I wrong? It ended up being my favorite, and I've used quite a bit of the pale papaya ribbon. In fact, I just had to order some more. So, don't ever discount either a stamp set. You know how you see those stamp sets and you think, oh, I don't need that. And then you see someone work with it and it's like, oh my goodness, okay, I'm convinced. That happens to me all the time, y'all. All right, so here we go. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so somebody, I'll do a random drawing and somebody's going to get this card. Okay, I'll have a matching envelope with it too. Now, I decided to go ahead and do another quick project using this stamp set. So let me get set up. If you have questions, go ahead and post them here. And let's see. I'm trying to get this settled and out of the way. All right. Oh, and I forgot to mention this because it was under everything. Last week for commenting, I did the cards with the delivering chair and then the bag. Gail Loyola is going to get this. Now, some of you don't come back and check and, watch the next premiere because I usually announce the winner. This one's going to Gail, but I have to have your mailing address so I can send it to you. So anyway, be sure you check for that, Gail. Or if somebody knows Gail, let her know that she needs to send me her mailing address so I can send that to her. Okay. Next, I'm going to make a cute little Post-it note holder. Okay. So we're going to start with a piece of 3 1/4 by 7 Cajun Craze. So let me get my trimmer because I need to score at 3 1/4 and 3 3/4. Now this particular size is for the 3 by 3 square pads that are about a 1/2 inch thick. okay? And I have one that size, but it doesn't really, I need a more muted color, and you'll see in a minute. But I'm not going to glue mine in until I get one that's a little more color appropriate. Okay, so this is 3 1/4 and then 3 3/4. All right, so let's fold on those score lines, and that gives you about a 1/2 inch there for your Post-it note thickness, okay? These are super simple, but this is a great teacher gift or administrative assistant gift, okay? So now, if you have not gotten any of this cork paper, you're missing out. I mean, it is cork, or it feels like cork if it's not. It is thin, thin strips of cork on a paper background. This is cut 3 by 3, and I'm going to glue that on the front. Look how awesome that looks. I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some liquid glue. And put that right there. Okay, so that's a 3 by 3, all right, for the cork. Then I have this die here that's in the set, okay? I used some of this Celebration Bedazzling paper. Look at it. It's beautiful, that you can earn for free with a $50 order. And I'll show you, I cut, let me show you, right here, I cut this part off and used it on another project because the whole bottom wasn't going to show, okay? So I got a use 2 projects out of 1 stem, okay? So think about that when you're creating. Saves yourself a little bit of time. Okay, I have a scrap piece of crumb cake. Okay, we're going to stamp on that. And let me find my stamps. Here it is. I'm using this one, okay? It's like a smaller version of that larger flower, or it can be like a daisy or a black-eyed Susan, okay? And I'm going to take my Memento ink and ink that up. And we are going to stamp it on this crumb cake. Then I am taking my light Cajun Craze and light Mossy Meadow. Again, if you're using a water-based medium to color, you need to use a different ink to stamp. You either need to emboss, heat emboss an image, like with metallic powder or black, or you need to use StazOn, Jet Black StazOn ink. And we carry both of those. So I am just, you see it looks different, but you definitely see the color. See that? And using the crumb cake just gives it a different look. More of an earthy look, I guess you would say. So I'm just super simple coloring all of these little petals on these flowers. Okay, and you can go back over it. Okay, now let's take the light Mossy Meadow and do the stems and leaves. And you don't have to stay exactly inside the lines. It's still going to be pretty. Okay. All right, so now I have the Tasteful Labels dies, and I'm using this die, and I'm going to step aside here and die cut this on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm just centering the flower. I'll be back in a jiff. All right, here I've cut it out, and this is going to go right here. Isn't that pretty? That bedazzling paper just makes it extra special. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put most of my adhesive on this bedazzling paper down here. Now you could cut this with our adhesive sheets, but y'all know me. It's like I'm so busy trying to get through a project, I forget to get my adhesive sheets out. One of these days I'm going to do a project specifically for that. And then I'm going to glue this over top. Now, I see where I want that to stick out a little more, so I'm moving it up. Okay, and again, I didn't have to put adhesive here. I might go back and put just a dot later, but for right now, I'm going to leave it and just adhere this label with the flowers right on top. Hold that down a bit. Then I'm going to take my brush metallic and I'm using the bronze on this one. And again, just, you know, scatter them. I'm putting one here and then a smaller one. Then I'm going to get another small one and put it right there. Okay, and I'm not going to put a sentiment on the front, but you could put something on the inside and stamp a sentiment. You would cut a 3x3 square of something, maybe crumb cake, and stamp a sentiment on it if you'd like. Okay, let me show you this. I mean, this is bright, right? But it fits in here just right. You would glue down the back one right there inside that, and it folds over just like that. Cute little gift, okay? You could also put a sentiment here if you'd like. I'm not doing that just in case it's for whatever occasion. But what I'm going to do is I will send one of these with whoever's name that I draw for this card, and I'll send you both of these projects. I'll do a random drawing of those who have commented, okay? All right, those are our projects for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you will give it a try. Remember about my free class offer from now through September the 10th, 2021. If I can help you with anything, let me know. Visit my website at inkandinspirations.com for more ideas. And I will see you again soon. Hope you come back again next Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.